Inside Huntsville with Brenda Martin, a conversation with department heads at City Hall on streets, ball fields, public safety, and more. And also with our community partners that add economic security, support education, and enhance the city's quality of life.
Hello, I'm Brenda Martin for Inside Huntsville, and thanks for joining me today. This is the season to be watchful and prepared for active weather in the Tennessee Valley. The Director of Emergency Management, John Rusty Russell, is here today to talk about weather preparedness. He's been with the city of Huntsville for some 19 years and has many years of experience in this area. Rusty was designated as Madison County's point of contact for the Alabama's Department of Homeland Security. Welcome, Rusty. How are you?
Brenda, good morning. I'm glad to be here.
Good. Well, this is a season where everybody wants you. I was watching TV last night and saw you there. So thanks for being here today to share information with our viewers. Describe to our viewing audience, if you will, the duties and responsibilities for the Huntsville-Madison County Department.
Yeah, our emergency management agency has countywide responsibility. We serve the citizens of Huntsville, Madison, all the other municipalities and the county in general. We provide resource coordination when there's a disaster to make sure that the responders have the equipment and the operational capability they need to properly respond during the aftermath of a tornado or an ice storm or any type of hazardous material event. If they need mutual aid, resources from another county or the state resources, we broker those through the emergency management, keep track of all the paperwork. We also are responsible for making sure that those agreements are in place. In other words, if a firefighter responds outside of Madison County, his insurance goes with him. So if he gets hurt, you know, he's covered. The authorities that they have for police and fire and HMC, for example, go with them when they cross our county lines because of the agreements that we put in place between our county and the other counties.
And that's important here because you are responsible for all the counties. How many counties?
Well, I'm not responsible. I'm only responsible for Madison County.
For Madison County,
and
okay.
Each county has an EMA department, an agency, if you will, and we all work together like a family.
Okay.
We meet very often together and discuss, you know, our issues and needs, and we also meet with the state personnel on a regular basis.
Now, you're governed by a 5-member board.
Correct.
What are their responsibilities?
Well, the Emergency Management Board provides oversight to the department. They make sure that we have the resources we need to do our jobs, and there's 5 members. They're appointed. 2 are appointed by the county, 2 are appointed by the city of Huntsville, and recently we had a joint appointment. Recently that's become the Madison City appointment.
Oh, okay. Okay, great. So there's a representative of each area.
Correct.
Which is great. Okay, the emergency management staff is, of course, you're on call 24/7.
Right.
And you're at the Emergency Operations Center. Where is that located?
We are downtown Huntsville on Fountain Circle, the old library, if you will. A lot of people know where that is, or the old municipal court building. We are in the basement of that building. It was formerly the 911 center, so a lot of the capability that we needed to have a functional emergency operations center was already in place when we moved in.
Okay, so it was an easy move.
Yes, ma'am.
It was an easy move. Okay, Rusty, when an emergency situation arises, what happens at that point?
Well, we monitor it. If it's a weather event, chances are we've been talking about it for as much as 5 days prior to the event. The Weather Service works very closely with us, and they give us information on, you know, as the picture becomes clearer and clearer closer to the event. They're constantly giving us information on what the probability of severe weather is, or how severe it's going to be, or where it's going to be. So right up to the time that it happens. If we have an event that warrants activation of the Emergency Operations Center, we will call in representatives from the different response groups. If it's a large event, we'll probably have people from the hospital there, hospitals, or we would have utilities people there, public works people there. Redstone Arsenal has a seat in there. Law enforcement, fire, HMC has a seat in there. We have a medical response capability here in Madison County that's just really robust. So we would have those people representing that group in here. They would be taking phone calls and doing things like that. 211 would be in here. Everybody works together. That way we get information we need from the field, and we have that information ready so that the decision makers have the best picture of what's going on.
You mentioned 211. There's two numbers I want you to talk a little bit about, and that's 211 and the difference between 911. 211 is?
211 is where you call if you want information like, for instance, I want to donate some clothes to a needy cause. Where would be the best place to do that? Or what the temperature of my food should be if I think it's been spoiled or contaminated. I want to heat it to 160 degrees. So they would provide information like that. Just call in information. I want to volunteer. Where am I needed? Those types of things. So 211 can get that information for you. 911 is if you have a true emergency. We ask people not to call 911 unless they have a true emergency. There's other ways you can get information rather than calling 911. Every minute those dispatchers spend on the phone with somebody when they don't need to, maybe somebody's life at stake. So we want to make sure that we don't call 911 unless there's a true emergency.
Thank you for sharing that, because some people don't understand truly the difference between those two numbers. So thanks for sharing that. Now, the public is definitely responsible for how they receive emergency public information and are responsible for taking the appropriate actions to protect themselves. So what is the best way to receive emergency information, such as a tornado warning?
Well, chances are if we're having a severe weather event, you're already aware of it and you're watching it. The best way to receive the information is via television or radio, because you have a visual picture of where the storm is and what's happening. The most reliable way to receive the information is with the NOAA weather radio.
I'm going to ask you a couple of questions about that, but before I do, can you elaborate on the difference between a tornado watch and a tornado warning?
Yes, ma'am. The tornado watch is basically issued by the National Weather Service when conditions are ripe for the formation of a tornado. The atmosphere has to have the characteristics that are favorable to that violent twisting of the winds. So they would issue, if they feel those conditions exist, they'll issue a watch. A watch may be issued a half an hour, 45 minutes before the storms actually get here, to give people time to be prepared and to let them know that it's possible that they need to, take cover.
Okay, now the local meteorologists are adamant about, as you mentioned earlier, our purchasing weather radios. Why should we buy a radio when in fact we might be able to hear the sirens that are close to us?
Well, our sirens in Madison County do not have battery backup. So if the power goes out, that siren's not going to sound. Weather radio, however, does have battery backup. We have very good coverage in Madison County, and as I said before, that's the most reliable way to get the information. If you don't have power, you can't watch TV, but you can have your weather radio ready to go.
Okay, so now, if in fact, if there is a tornado warning, what should we do?
If we have a tornado warning and you're in the area that the tornado is headed towards, you have probably just enough time to take cover. The best place in a normal dwelling or house is an inside room without outside walls. The smaller the better, the less ceiling span the better, and that's the safest place to be. If you can, the absolute safest place to be is out of the wind stream, in other words, below ground. If you can get below ground, a basement or a storm shelter, the debris, a cinder block traveling at 200 miles an hour is going to go through your house. But if you're below that wind stream, you know, it's going to go over you and you'll be protected.
What time of year normally do we have tornadoes, and why?
Well, a lot of scientists have looked at this. Our tornado seasons are springtime, and then we have a short tornado season for about a month and a half in the fall. So we have actually 2 severe weather seasons.
2 seasons, okay.
And the reason is because of the way the atmosphere behaves during those times of year. We have more possibility of convective, you know, storms than in the other times of the year.
Mm-hmm. Rusty, and I've heard you make numerous presentations over the years, and you've always insisted that we have a plan. What do you mean by that?
Well, think about, always be prepared that if you have to leave your home for 3 or 4 days, what do you need? You know, if you are displaced, whether it's a tornado or takes your home or destroys your home, or whether there's a flood and you have to go live someplace else for a while, whatever it is, you should have a plan on how to let your relatives know where you are and, you know, that you're safe. If you take prescription medicines, you should have a list of those, because you may not have an adequate supply. When you run out, if you don't have that list, the doctors can't, you know, help you get the medicine that you need without a lot of other trouble. So that would speed up that process. Prescription eyeglasses, for example, you know, all those things. You want to make sure that you have the fundamental survival things: a flashlight, gloves, first aid kit, food, water, you know.
So you're really talking about having an emergency kit,
Right,
pulled together, already sitting where everybody in the family knows where it is, and anything that I need or anyone else in the family needs would be in that kit.
right. But in addition to that,
Okay.
every household member needs to know, if there is a tornado, where's the best place to go. And if you don't feel like you're safe in your home, you need to find a place nearby or somewhere that you can go to where you feel safe. And it's not, the government's not going to protect you during a tornado watch. It's up to you to take care of your family. So the time to move is during the watch. You need to start thinking about it. If you have a place that's close by, like in your basement or whatever, you know, be ready to go there when the time comes. That's the plan I'm talking about.
Okay.
Figure out what you need to do to keep your family as safe as possible.
Are there shelters located in the Madison County, well, Huntsville-Madison County area?
Right. We have a few shelters, community shelters in the rural areas, but basically we have a population of 360,000 in Madison County. It would be impractical for us to try to build tornado shelters for our entire population. So what we we try to educate people on what the best thing to do is. There are many substantial structures in Madison County that people can go to. We had a program where we were able to fund safe rooms in homes. For anybody that wants to do that, it's not that expensive. The average price of installing a safe room in an existing home is about $5,000.
And what do you mean by that?
A safe room is a tornado-proof area in your home, a small area that has been approved by FEMA within their code to withstand the forces of a tornado. You can have one built in your home for about $5,000. For new construction, the price is like $3,000. So it's not an expensive way to make sure your family is as safe as they can be.
Are we talking about an added room to your existing home, or?
Well, it could be an underground shelter away from the house.
I see.
It could be, they have ones that they cut out your garage floor and put a metal shelter down in the floor of your garage.
Is that right?
And they've got all kinds of designs. If you're interested, you know, just go online and look up tornado shelters, and you'll be able to find, you know, practically anything you were looking for.
Let's talking about going online. What people can go to your website
Yes, they can.
and get all kinds of information. I mean, you guys really keep that up and accurate and current. Talk a little bit about that.
Well, our staff, Scott Worsham actually on our staff, he's the webmaster, if you will.
See?
And he's constantly looking for things that will help people and updating the website to make sure that it's up-to-date information. It's www.madisoncountyema.com. And the information on a storm, for instance, if we have a winter weather event, we send out Twitter messages. Those Twitter messages of school's closed, this road's back open, all those Twitter messages will appear on the front page of our website.
I noticed
so
that,
people
yeah.
can go and do that if they don't have a Twitter account. We also have a way for responders to input information into the EOC from the field. So they can, if there's an accident or whatever, that police officer or firefighter or whoever can get information via the internet, and it comes up on the board in the EOC. And if it's significant and we want to send a Twitter out on it, we'll take that information, capture it, and put it into a Twitter feed, and it will appear on our website.
Is that right? Wonderful, wonderful. Making sure that we keep the community informed.
That's the best way. Best way for people to be safe is be informed. Be ready, be informed.
It's almost like the Girl Scouts or the Boy Scouts? Be prepared.
That's right.
Another term I like for you to explain is severe thunderstorm warnings.
Okay. As with a tornado warning, a severe thunderstorm warning means that there are winds capable of damaging structures, hail 3/4 of an inch or larger, and it's actually happening at the time. A watch, for instance, would be the possibility of a thunderstorm. A severe thunderstorm is possible. A severe thunderstorm warning means that it's actually taking place as we speak.
And they can be pretty disastrous.
Yes, they can. They can. The winds from a severe thunderstorm can do just as much damage, as a small tornado.
As a tornado, absolutely. Rusty, first, I want to congratulate you on becoming the president of the International Association of Emergency Management of the United States of America. That is a great honor.
Thank you, Brenda.
To have you here.
I was very fortunate to have some good mentors, and I got active at the state level in some committees, and I was asked to serve on some national committees, and one thing led to another, and then I felt like I could contribute in a positive way, and a lot of people talked to me about it, and I decided to give up a year of my life, if you will,
yeah.
to help represent other emergency managers across the country. We have over 8,000 members.
I was going to ask you, how many do you have? 8,000 members, so you're on the road quite a bit, I'm sure. And this is a premier organization of emergency management professionals across the U.S.
We have medical emergency managers, people in hospitals. We have university campuses, school systems, the local government emergency managers like me. And any company or entity out there right now that wants to be prepared and sustainable, is looking for an emergency manager right now. So we represent that field, that profession of emergency management, and we advocate for the issues that affect us.
Now, you're responsible, or you're the president of USA, so to speak, and there's other...
Right. We have councils all over the world.
Other councils.
I think we have 18 foreign councils right now. We just added a South American council, which includes Chile, Brazil, and some other Latin American countries. And we're growing all the time. There's a big push right now. China has a very strong program towards preparedness. We're trying to work with them and get them involved. So there's a standard of performance for emergency managers across the world.
Wonderful. Well, we thank you, and we know we're being well represented. You've got a lot of background, a lot of history in this area. You've been involved in emergency management for how many years now?
About 19 years.
Yeah, that's incredible.
Well, I enjoy it.
Great, and we're glad to have you here.
Thank you, Brenda.
Thank you so much for being here, and thank you so much for being here and being with us on our show today. We want to remind you, if you would like more information about our emergency management agency, please call 256-427-5130. Thanks for joining us today. I'm Brenda Martin for Inside Huntsville. Make your day a safe one.